So I said that today we were going to move into talking about craft and about making your novel unputdownable, but I interviewed Micah, my publisher and my friend, and we had a great time. We worked on that this afternoon, and I got some more feedback on the manifestation videos that I have been making, and I thought that I would talk a little bit more about some advanced techniques that I can offer you, because there is great hope. Even if you have discovered that your core misbelief, your fundamental block that is getting in the way of you being the writer that you want to be, being the human that you want to be, living the life that you want, drawing that abundance to yourself, you have been working on uncovering what that is, turning it upside down and turning it into a mantra. But there are other things that you can do as well, and I want to talk about some of those other things. One of the things I talked about in Spain was the magnificent plasticity of the human brain. There are lots of examples of people, we haven't been studying the brain in this way for very long, and the very earliest examples of the brain's plasticity come. I've had so little sleep, you wouldn't even believe how little sleep I've had. Later I'll have a drink, but I haven't had a drink yet. So the earliest examples that we have of the brain's plasticity come usually from accidents. So Phineas Gage had an accident on the railroad and had a spike through the head that he survived, and had a massive personality change. And so doctors started looking at which portions of the brain do what, and then moved into, not only do different portions of the brain do different things, but if, for example, we have a human being who is born with part of the corpus callosum missing, they can actually learn to do things on the other side of the brain. So the very, very interesting stuff about the retrainability of the human brain. You can retrain yourself to be the person that you want to be the person who attracts the life that you want, build the thing that you want, and draw everything that you want to you. One of the things that you are going to need to practice, in addition to writing down your goals and speaking them out loud and turning your core misbelief into a mantra, you are going to have to get yourself into a state of flow as often as you can. I was extremely resistant to a lot of this. I am, as you might imagine, I have lived most of my life in my brain. My brain is what allowed me to make a decent living. And so some of the stuff that I have read that comes from, I don't want to call it woo-woo anymore, because it's got a negative connotation, but some of the advanced physics that we are starting to uncover, that show us that the world is watching us watch it, and changing when we look and when we look away. I know that you've all seen the meme. I know you've seen the monkey meme, and you know what I'm talking about. But the thing is, you can get out of your own way. It's so hard for me to talk about this stuff because I like being a smart human being, and I like what my brain has done for me. I was recently reading about abundance. I asked people to make recommendations to me about abundance and drawing things to you, and somebody recommended Get Rich Bitch. I was quite disappointed that actually, once it comes down to it, they don't call themselves bitches, because that would have been quite enjoyable. But one of the things that that author said is, try everything. Try it and see if it works. And I would add to that, give it a bit of time. So try something, but like, say, for example, psychoactive drugs, it takes about 6 weeks for them to kick in. So if you're going to try something, don't try it once or twice and say, well, that doesn't work. Give it a go and see if it works for you. The biggest thing that you're going to have to do is build a practice that makes sense for you. So of the things that I'm going to talk about, you need to build something that works for you. I, for example, can't do yoga. If I stand still I will just weep. I have too much grief. I have too much leftover stuff that I am still processing, that if I stand still, and I've had to do it a couple of times. Ginger and I went to a retreat in the Catskills, and it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. I just lay on a yoga mat and wept. And also, back in the day when I was still acting, I took method classes, and one of the things you do very early on in your method training is to stand still and just stand and let yourself be. And I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. So yoga is not for me, but it might be for you. Deep breathing. The stuff that we talked about earlier in the week, breathing in positivity, breathing in your intention, breathing out the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. For some people, that's not going to work because it will bring stuff up for you. So go slowly. Take more shallow breaths. Work your way up to it. But try these things to see if they work for you. The other thing that I'm going to offer you is that there is a between space. The between space is between being awake and being asleep. And what you need to do is you need to get Stella to stop barking to begin with. You need to relax whatever you can relax, including your mind. And you need to find this place that is just beneath consciousness and slip into that space. For me, that space is a space of lucid dreaming. I often see a lot of stuff that's out there. For those of you who believe in the Akashic Records, that's where I go to access the Akashic Records. I've also done hypnosis, and I created my own way to get into my deep subconscious, which involved flying and dogs and subterranean places, and going down and down and down a spiral staircase. So lots of id stuff for me. If you listen to last year's talk, you'll know all about the id stuff, yummy stuff that really appeals to you, to get to that place where you access stuff that is part of your profound, huge subconscious, those stuff that is driving you. You have to think of yourself as this huge iceberg, and your intellect is the teeny tiniest bit of that iceberg. What's driving you is this massive subterranean engine that moves really fast and is based in feeling. Once we get to talking about craft stuff, I'm going to be talking quite a bit about Daniel Pink's book, A Whole New Mind, because he talks about left brain and right brain, and how feeling is so important to how you process the world and how you're going to succeed. So what have we got? We've got breathing. We've got possibly yoga. We have got meditation. We have also got slipping into another space. We have got accessing the subconscious. You've already started. Some of you have got a date to write down when your plan is going to begin.